Thank you, Your Honour. My question for the Chair of the Senate Standing Committee on Transportation and Communications is as follows. Senator Housakos, in a fundraising letter that you sent to, by your account, hundreds of thousands of Canadians, you describe C-11 as a censorship law. This use of hyperbolic language has the effect of labeling witnesses who are in favor of the bill as supporters of censorship. Senator Housakos, this is at best name-calling. At worst, it creates a chill for witnesses who are favorably disposed to C-11. How can this chamber, how can Canadians have confidence that you will honourably chair this committee so that we will have a fair, impartial, and expedient review and investigation of this bill?
Senator Housakos.
Senator Wu, your partisanship has no bounds. At the end of the day, why weren't you ripping your shirt in indignation when you've had committee chairs who chaired committees who are in favor of government legislation? And you take exception with chairs of committees, the few chairs of committees that the opposition have in this chamber, who oppose government legislation. I said yesterday to a question, and I will repeat it. In this chamber, every senator is equal regardless of their position. We have a privilege and obligation to articulate on bills and policies and motions. If we're chairs of committees, for the information of this chamber, the significant difference between this chamber and the House is even our own Speaker is not an arbitrator. He's a barometer for consensus, and he can participate in debate and actually can also vote. So that precedent and existence of our rights and obligations should be respected by all senators. Now, when I articulate my position against the bill, I do that as a senator. I can assure you that as chair of our committee, all procedures and rules have been respected. Free debate, questioning of all witnesses has been encouraged, to the point where I will stand firm that every stakeholder that wants to come before the committee to articulate for and against will have that right. I hope every senator on that committee will respect that privilege, yourself included, Senator Wu. That's called democracy. If you can give me any indication of where there's been a preference by the chair in terms of stifling opposition or favor to this bill, I'd love for you to point that out to this chamber.
Senator Wu, supplementary.
Yes, thank you. I'm not aware of any chair of a Senate Standing Committee sending a fundraising letter and using inflammatory language as part of that person's duty in chairing such a committee. Senator Housakos, I take it you are committed to discharging the work of this committee in a responsible and honourable way. Tell us then, what are you doing to ensure that this committee and the proceedings in this chamber, including discussions with your leader and your caucus, that we will in fact get to the promise that leaders sign of a third reading vote on November 18?
Senator Housakos.
Senator Wu, I know you're more preoccupied with the machinations of leadership in this place. I'm preoccupied with democracy and making sure all stakeholders are heard. The only thing I can assure you as chair, that all Canadian stakeholders that want to express themselves freely on any side of the debate will have an opportunity to do so. If you feel otherwise and you want to put parameters, or leadership wants to put parameters, of course the committee is at the whim of this chamber.
I'm sorry, Senator Wu. I'll put you on a round for a second round. We have time for a second question.
Senator Housakos, given the avowed commitment to agreements by leaders, can we take it then that you will do everything you can so that the committee study will be completed in time for proper third reading debate in this chamber and to have a final vote on C-11 by November 18th?
Senator Housakos.
Senator Wu, you seem to have missed in my previous answer that I'm committed to one thing: making sure that every stakeholder in the country that wants to come and speak on behalf of the bill, in favor or against, has an opportunity to do so. I know that is not your particular preoccupation, but that is my preoccupation, and I'm steadfast in defense of that. I will not have the fiasco reoccur of what we saw over in the House of Commons, where witnesses were chopped off, They were not allowed to go before the committee. Both witnesses in favor of the bill and against the bill. If we are a genuine chamber of sober second thought, and all I've been hearing from this place is independence and the newfound wonders of it, but yet we seem to be working under very clearly political pressure here to get a bill out by a particular timeline that leadership or the government wants done. I don't aspire to those particular principles. That's more, I think, your preoccupation, mine, and I'm clear. I don't want to, burden you with the same answer. Every witness that wants to be heard will be heard.
Hear, hear.
Senator Wu.
Support holding additional hearings at the committee and perhaps having those hearings over our break week.
Senator Housakos.
Senator Wu, it's the chamber's will to decide these things. Again, you're making it sound like you're asking some kind of question I have an answer to. Bring that up with your leadership group. As you know, they are the ones that determine timeline. You've been here for a while. So I'm sure you'll be able, you have a lot of clout, it seems, with leadership in this chamber. I'm sure you'll be able to get it done.